And we're back. Right now we're just going to chat about some kind of news stuff.
Current events, local happenings.
Most everyone's probably already seen most of these, but in case you haven't, we're just going to kind of chat about them. And so right now there was a missing girl from Tooele. Did you see this, Dave?
I saw the headlines and I haven't yet delved into it, but she's in California and
She's not in California anymore.
okay.
So, missing 12-year-old girl, they put out a red alert for her. She's from Stansbury Park. And so she was reported missing. This would have been a couple Thursdays ago, but last week we didn't do a news show because we were chasing people through southern Utah. So anyway, so this girl, she had been chatting online with a 15-year-old boy from California. And so the 15-year-old boy and his mother, 43-year-old Pauline Amana, drove out here to Utah, picked her up, and drove her back to California.
Wow.
It sounds like a damn gypsy marriage, doesn't it? It sounds crazy to me. So it's the police press release says two teenagers met online. However, why Amana and her son drove to Utah to pick up Martinez is not clear, and it may be clear by now to the police. This has kind of died down, but I'm honestly thinking that she probably, or he and her, the girl and the boy, probably both told the mom that she was being abused and we got to go rescue her. Some story, but either way, that's insane. I don't know what the mom is thinking. I don't get it.
Where was dad? That's my question.
The boy's dad?
Well, yeah, where was he? 43-year-old mother and her 15-year-old son.
I doubt the dad is
Where's
around.
the dad?
I doubt the dad is around.
So what you're saying is family life can get dysfunctional if you only have one. And it can get so dysfunctional that your daughter could end up in California.
Well, now that's not necessarily the
moral of the story, but yeah.
Well, no,
I mean,
that is the moral of the story. I think the mom somehow got roped into going and picking her up, and I don't know how. I can't imagine what would cause that to happen. I just can't.
You would have to use your imagination for that backstory, but it would be interesting to follow up on that.
It's like, what, a 15-hour drive?
Right? Yeah.
To go pick up some strange girl?
For your 15-year-old son?
A 12-year-old girl?
So, okay.
That's insane. I imagine, I don't know, I imagine there'll be charges abound with that one, but I'm glad the girl was found and all is safe and well there. But
now, did they find her or did she reach out to them?
I don't know. They probably looked through her computer and saw the interactions, did some code breaking and saw the interactions with little Billy, and little Billy's like, "We're coming to get you. We're in Wendover now. We'll be there in an hour," and all this stuff. So
God, I hope there's a follow-up story with that because there's so many loose holes.
Yeah, and we should dig around and find it, and we'll if we dig around and find something, we'll bring it up next week. Now we've got a little bit of a sadder story now. Maybe not sadder, more contentious, but yeah, it is. Anyways, I'll just get on with it. So there's been a move to try to rename the new highway here in Utah, the Jordan Bird Memorial Highway. Now, Jordan Bird was a young man that I think he grew up in Dugway, didn't he?
He did, and in fact, like, I knew his mother very well. I still know his mother very well, and I knew Jordan, and I tried to get him to go into the Air Force, but he wouldn't listen to me. I really wanted him to go into the Air Force, but he grew up in the Army life, and he wanted to dedicate his his
Well, he did want to
service
join the
to the army.
He did want to join the military.
He wanted to join the army. I mean, he grew up at Dugway.
Yeah, he wanted
So
to
so
join
you know, okay, that's his culture.
Yeah. I'm just teasing you. But anyways, no, so they want to rename it the highway, the Jordan Bird Memorial Highway. And I have no objections at all to it. So anyways, I'll just read the story. It's coming from KUTV. A drive to rename the new Mid-Valley Highway in Tooele County after young fallen Army medic Jordan Bird seems to have come to a halt in the Utah House. The plan passed unanimously in the state a month ago, but has gone no further, and his family is disappointed. Basically, he gave his life up so we could have our freedom to continue to live our life that we want here, says Abby Bird, younger sister of Jordan. I think renaming a road after him is a simple ask. In an interview with 2 News on Wednesday, Abby said her brother, only 19 years old, was shot and killed in Afghanistan in 2010 while treating another soldier who had been injured in combat. So
let's talk about the obstacles that are in the way of renaming this highway.
Okay. Let's just lay it out like this. Rep. Merrill Nelson, Republican from Grantsville, said he's opposed to renaming the highway after Jordan Bird. This is a quote from Merrill Nelson. The proposal does not fall within accepted parameters of renaming state highways. Most local veterans are opposed to singling out one veteran for this perpetual recognition to the exclusion of many others.
Jared, when they say most local veterans, did anyone reach out and ask you?
No.
Nobody reached out and asked me either.
I know. Shocking.
Huh.
Particularly Vietnam veterans who receive little or no recognition for their service and sacrifice. All right. So I do have to say, yes, the Vietnam veterans came home to a pretty dismal reunion with their country. You know, abhorrent. And I'm glad that our nowadays veterans aren't coming home that way.
Actually, I'm surprised veterans even want to talk to Merrill Nelson after he voted against HB 60 and our Second Amendment.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Side thought, maybe.
We haven't been able to get Nelson to come on the show yet to chat with us.
But he's not running again either.
Yeah, so he's not running again. This is his last go around.
Can't blame him.
We had Doug on, and we really, we like talking with Doug, and
And we got to talk to Doug again because we have to reach out to him.
This might be another instance where Merrill Nelson comes probably from that age group where the Vietnam veterans. So this might be an instance of he rides in that age group.
Was he in Vietnam, you think?
I don't know if he was in or even if he is in directly in that age group, but it might be an age group that's closer to him that he notices. So it may be, I don't want to say a prejudice of his, but it may be something that is closer to him. So I don't want to cast aspersions on him without knowing exactly if there is a different motive in there. And my personal opinion is I would be more than fine if they named it the Jordan Bird Memorial Highway.
Well, Jared, what kind of great people do we name our roads after in Utah?
Well, now we've got a Hugo Chavez Boulevard, I believe. Now, I'm not saying Hugo Chavez isn't an interesting historical figure. He definitely was, and he was, a firebrand in his own way. But I don't see. I don't know what the rules are for naming a highway, and I didn't know there were rules for naming a highway. Well, obviously, you can't name it, Crap Stick Road or whatever. But regardless,
Hugo Chavez. I mean, maybe we got a Che Guevara somewhere too.
I don't think so. Now, Hugo Chavez, he would be Hugo Chavez was He started what was it, the fruit pickers union or international farm union, whatever, in California. And he used to beat illegal immigrants at the border.
I thought it was the Venezuelan dictator.
No, this is
It's a different Hugo Chavez.
yeah, I believe so.
Maybe.
Yeah. I can't imagine we named it after him before he became dictator. Maybe I've got the name wrong, but whatever. So anyway, Nelson says he does not expect this bill to advance, adding the family has already honored Jordan in other ways. This is more of the community honoring Jordan. That'd be my, and I'm not saying he's wrong for saying that. I'm just saying the family can honor Jordan their way. I don't see anything wrong with the community honoring him. Late Wednesday, 2 News also reached out to Rep. Doug Sagers of Tooele, but they haven't heard back from him as of Wednesday. 2 News also asked an aide to Speaker Brad Wilson if she had any information on whether the renaming measure would be assigned to a committee for public hearing or considered by the full House. She replied she did not have that information right now, but if it is available, she would notify them. Now, Abby Byrd said she's only spoken to one person who expressed opposition to the Jordan Byrd Memorial Highway. Everybody else is saying, how could they not do this? This doesn't make any sense. Abby said if the road is not named for her brother, she'd be supportive of naming it the highway for Gold Star families, which is families of fallen soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen, Coast Guard, law enforcement, all that. But I don't see. I mean, Jordan Byrd was if I'm correct, our only county loss in Afghanistan and Iraq. If I'm correct, I may be wrong on that, but as far as I know, he's our only county loss
in the combat zone. I mean, there have been others who have committed suicide, but this is I'm close to that family.
Mm-hmm.
Abby and her mother, and for me to actually see Merrill Nelson as the opposition, how special I feel about him. So
I'd like to know.
Boy.
I'd like to know, for myself what his reasons are. But I don't see a reason not to name it that. It's a little thing that, I mean, and not to mention, I mean, the way everything ended in last year, it'd probably be a good idea to.
Yeah, if you want to know what most veterans think, just ask me and Jared too. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's us.
If you don't believe me, ask me and I'll tell you so.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But anyways, and then so next we've got a lighter side of Utah real quick.
A lighter.
That is a comical outlook of how I said that, isn't it? So, a Utah woman set fire to a shed while her husband and another woman were inside. Okay. According to Fox 13, Claire Robinson of Provo, Utah, was standing near the ignition point of the fire, staring at the fire and the occupants of her shed, when her husband and an unidentified woman started to smell smoke. There was an open 5-gallon gas can near the shed that was about 1/8 full. All right. So it says that Claire Robinson was standing near the ignition point of a fire, staring at the fire and the occupants of her shed. What was her husband doing in there? Robinson, 63, told police she tried to warn her husband and the woman when she saw flames in the shed, but the husband and the woman said she didn't warn them. Robinson is currently married to the male, living in the shed, and the male is now cohabitating with a different female that was inside the shed with the male. Okay,
Damn.
ladies, does that work? If you're out on the town and you meet a dude and he says, "Hey, want to come back to my shed?"
Chop some firewood. Wow.
Oh, that is insane. So he's living in a shed. Sounds like they're separated or whatever. And then he brings a lady home. And this lady and the wife, man, don't cheat on your wife, because it's hard to read the news stories when you got to go, this lady did to that lady. But anyways, Robinson disappeared from the scene, but was later found blocks away with a butane torch and cigarettes in her possession. Well, the cigarette and the butane torch, was it like one of those little lighters that people carry now, or was it like one of those?
They are in style. Those butane torches are pretty cool.
They are, but yeah, if it was just a lighter, that's, Anyways, the canine gave a positive indication on the shoes and pants during an open air search. So the dog sniffed out the arson fluids, the gas or whatever. Robinson will face a charge of aggravated arson. Man, yeah. So the guy meets a girl and takes a girl back to a shed.
His shack. His love shack. All right.
Oh, man. All right. Everyone, I'm sure, remembers Susan Powell. Do you remember the Susan Powell stuff?
I sure do.
Yeah.
Did they find her body?
That was kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide news, especially what happened up in Oregon a few years later when her creepy ass dirtbag husband killed their two sons. Just harrowing and awful, horrible stories. But anyway, so Puyallup, Washington, the father of a West Valley City woman who went missing in 2009, said bones found in Utah mine are not those of his daughter. Chuck Cox, the father of Susan Cox Powell, had been hopeful that the bones discovered during a recent search in the West Desert would be identified as his daughter's, but that was not the case. Okay, so it's like a YouTube investigative spelunker went diving down some mines out in the West Desert. I think it was down further south than us. But he found some bones and brought them out, and everyone was hopeful that these were Susan Powell's bones. And it turns out that they weren't, but it was an interesting story, and it caused a lot of hype for a minute.
They were somebody's bones.
It was non-human.
Or something. Okay.
Turned out that they were non-human bones. Which is sad. I hope they do find her body one day, just for the parents. Her parents imagine her parents' loss that they suffered. I mean, first of all, they lost their daughter when she married a dirtbag and had a weird pedophile father-in-law. And then she ups and disappears. He gives them the runaround forever. Her father-in-law, or his dad, is a dirtbag, gets involved in it. He's a creep. I mean, yeah. And then they end up getting custody of the children. The children are forced visitation with the father by the state. So the state worker goes over there. I don't know if you've ever heard the 911 call of that.
No, I haven't.
So the state worker goes over there. She's driving like a little van, and they pull in the driveway. They walk up the steps. He immediately opens the doors, grabs the two little boys, pulls them inside. I think the boys were like 8 and 10 at the time, or right around there, just little guys still. Pulls them inside, slams the door, and locks it. She calls 911. 911 performs spectacularly by saying, "Who are you? What do you mean the state's making you do what?" Just not even paying attention. She's telling him, look, I smell gas on the driveway. He pulled the boys inside. I am the, what do you call it? The state chaperone for this. Why do you need a chaperone? No, I am the state chaperone. On and on and on. Not that I think the police could have got there and done anything in the situation, because what it sounds like is when he pulled him in, he took a hatchet, ended them both, and then lit a fire that caused the house to explode. So,
wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's awful. Now,
definitely not something I want to think about on my day off, but
yeah, you're welcome, Dave.
Yeah.
You're welcome. But yeah, I'm hoping they do find her body. And everyone has their own speculation as to where it is. All those speculations are valid. It just, I would like to see the Cox family find some kind of closure in this situation. It's just an awful, awful, heinous deal that happened there. But yeah, I just, I don't know. Anything else on your mind?
Let's do the blood story.
You want to do the blood story? All right.
This one was interesting because it was horrific, almost to the point where it was like a movie trailer or something, So I want you to think about this. What is your blood donation worth? It's worth a lot of money, especially nowadays when they need blood. Pharmaceutical companies and hospitals, all these people, they want blood so that they can keep performing their magic, right? Well, when something has value and it's limited and hard to get, here's an example of what can happen. So, blood slave kidnapped by Chinese crime gang in Cambodia, drained for months and threatened with organ harvesting.
So there's a Chinese crime gang in Cambodia.
Yeah, well, at least they brought the guy to Cambodia for harvesting his blood. Now, with blood, though,
it says he was kidnapping by Chinese crime gang in Cambodia.
Oh, okay. Where? I guess that's irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's Asia. It's all the same, right?
Mm.
So, either way, so no shit. There you are in Asia, and you get kidnapped by a crime gang, and you're tied to a table for months on end, and they are draining your blood. Now, your blood cells can only be replenished like once a month.
It sounds like there were 7 other kidnappees in there.
Right. It was a whole farm.
Oh,
a whole farm of people.
So, and yeah, wow.
So he managed to escape with the help of one of a member of the operation, and is now recovering in a hospital. Here's a cute picture of him on his cell phone. He's like, oh my gosh, what a day. He's a big guy too. But yeah, so now we're being harvested for blood as just regular tourists in locations in Asia. And when you're out and about in a foreign country, think about this, because I know my wife has a friend who goes out with people from his job to other countries to do things like soccer and other activities. And one of these individuals on this little traveling club had a cute little Brazilian blonde wife, and they're in South Africa. And the guy turns his back for a moment and looks back towards his wife, and she's gone, and he never found her again. And you got to wonder, like, what kind of a world do we live in? So maybe she's a blood slave somewhere.
I heard an interesting story that, 10, 20 years ago, in foreign countries, when they went to kidnap people, they would avoid kidnapping Americans and Israelis, and both for the same reason.
The punishment was
because the foreign entity would kidnap them, and then a tactical team would destroy everything. So I don't know if that's true or not, and I don't know even if it is true, would it still stand today? Because Afghanistan kind of proves that no. Anyway, so here's an interesting part. The man surnamed Lee managed to escape earlier with this month with the help of a member of the game, which ran an online fraud operation using a fake company. The Chutian Metropolis News reported. So the online fraud operation, is that like the ones that, juke you into buying or having to send them having to send them the iTunes cards or the Xbox cards and all that.
And they sell credit card information and social securities. I mean, you can do all sorts of online activity that's nefarious to our economy and well-being. It's unlimited nowadays.
Yeah, and you get duped in all the time. I mean, I get called telling me that the IRS is looking for me. His name is Bill, and he has a very thick accent. According to Cambodia-based Chinese language newspaper Asia Pacific Times, Lee, a 31-year-old from eastern Jiangsu province in China, had 800 milliliters of blood taken from him every month since August. The blood was most likely sold to private buyers online. Wow. So he is recovering. He is covered with bruises and marks from needles. So much blood had been drained from Lee that on the last occasion of drawing blood, the nurse had to take blood from his head after the veins in his arms failed to yield sufficient blood. I wonder if he will recover.
Well, traumatically. I mean, mentally he's probably broken. I would be.
So they had
PTSD for sure.
Oh, well, no, I'm wondering, did this do permanent damage to the veins in his arm? So 800 milliliters of blood was taken from him monthly. Okay, guidelines for safety to donate blood recommend no more than 500 milliliters at the most per donation. And while the fluid replaces itself within up to 48 hours, it can take months for red blood cells to fully replenish themselves. The American Red Cross recommends people not to donate blood more frequently than every 56 days. However, if red blood cells are being taken, the number of donations that can safely be made drops to about 3 times a year. So if they were taking 800 from him
every month,
they were, I mean, that equals to more than doubling the suggested donation amount.
And the red blood cells that they were selling must not have been very high quality at that point.
Oh, yeah, they were probably junk blood. I don't want no dang junk blood no more.
But you got to be wondering to yourself, like, all that blood I donate, like, to the blood drives and stuff, how much money does that yield to the actual market?
I don't. Well, what if it's private buyers, like on a private market? Like it. I don't know. eBay or whatever. Wayfair. Remember
what would they be doing with it? Like, what would you privately buy blood for?
It's a good question. Would you buy blood privately like that?
I wouldn't, unless why
that's-
would I need to?
Well, that's the question. I mean, let's say for some reason you couldn't get blood because you were whatever, but would you buy it because how do you guarantee you get the right type of blood? Like, what if I'm A negative? I probably should use negative type blood. Isn't that how it works? Or do I need all A negative blood? And then you've got O positive and O negative, and some bloods won't work in bodies, or
I can't. I would like to know. I won't lie. I'm curious to know what the private sector would be doing with the blood.
You're gonna go home and fire up the VPN and
watch a vampire movie.
Do a duct. Anyways, I think we solved it. It sounds like people might be hungry.
I want to suck your blood.
What if there are people out there that really think they are really are vampires? Look, I think the minute you start drinking blood, you're a vampire. You cross the threshold. You may not turn into a bat or, be cool or sparkle in the sun or whatever, but you
go, little rock stars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think that wraps up our segment for the news.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, thanks for joining us. It's been a wild week. World War III is on us. I know Dave tells me to quit saying that.
Don't jinx us.
It's here. It's here right now. We got to be ready. Ksenia, we love you too. Thanks for coming on last night. That was a wild show. We're going to get out of here. We hope everyone has a fabulous weekend. Be safe. Don't, I don't know.
Stay away from Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto is returning.
Your garbage disposal will get trashed.
Yeah. Dave, hey, Patricia, Dave fixed that earlier today. Or, yeah, right? Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Thanks, Jerry.
Or worked on it.
High expectations.
Did something with it.
I'm on my way. I'm going to fix it today.
All right.
I promise.
Have a good weekend.